What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update, your fourth stimulus check update, and related news. We're going to go over all the details of the third stimulus check, new details of the fourth stimulus check coming out, as well as Dr. Fauci getting completely grilled by Republicans. Yeah, we're going to jump right in here. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down below if you're new to the channel so you don't miss out on new updates on everything stimulus related. First, we're going to go to Republican Senator Rand Paul, who is completely grilling Dr. Fauci over, well, the pandemic, immunity, and masks. Let me know who you think is right here in this debate.
Dr. Fauci, in a recent British study, David Wiley and others found that no symptomatic reinfections from COVID-19 after following 2,800 patients for several months. In fact, there have been no reports of significant numbers of reinfections after acquiring COVID-19 naturally. Shane Crotty, a virologist at La Jolla Institute for Immunology, concludes from his experiments that the amount of immune memory gained from natural infection would likely prevent the vast majority of people from getting hospitalized disease, severe disease for many years. In this study, which was published in Science, Dr. Crotty showed that antibody levels stayed relatively constant with only modest declines over 6 to 8 months. Dr. Crotty reported that, notably, memory B cells specific for the spike protein, or RBD, were detected in almost all COVID-19 cases with no apparent half-life at 5 to 8 months after infection. In other words, Dr. Crotty found significant evidence of long-term immunity after COVID infection. Furthermore, Dr. Crotty noted B-cell memory to some other infections has been observed for as long as 60-plus years after smallpox vaccination, or even 90 years after a natural infection with influenza. That was a woman who got the Spanish flu, still showed immunity 90 years later. So rather than being pessimistic towards people gaining immunity after they've had COVID or had a vaccine, studies argue for significant optimism. In fact, there have been no scientific studies arguing or proving that infection with COVID does not create immunity. There have been no studies showing significant numbers of reinfections. Of the 30 million Americans who have had COVID, only a handful of reinfections have been discovered. In fact, the New York Times reported last fall more than 38 million people at the time worldwide had been infected with the coronavirus, and as of that date, fewer than 5 of these cases had been confirmed by scientists to be reinfections. Scientists interviewed for the article concluded, in most cases, a second bout with the virus produced milder symptoms or none at all. Given that no scientific studies have shown significant numbers of reinfections of patients previously infected or previously vaccinated, what specific studies do you cite to argue that the public should be wearing masks well into 2022?
I'm not sure I understand the connection of what you're saying about masks and reinfection. We're talking about people who have never been infected before.
You're telling everybody to wear a mask, whether they've had an infection or a vaccine. What I'm saying is they have immunity, and everybody agrees they have immunity. What studies do you have that people that have had the vaccine or have had the infection are spreading the infection? If we're not spreading the infection, isn't it just theater?
No, it's
not.
not.
The vaccine and you're wearing 2 masks. Isn't that theater?
No, that's not. Here we go again with the theater. Let's get down to the facts. Okay, the studies that you quote from Crotty and Sete look at in vitro examination of memory immunity, which in their paper they specifically say this does not necessarily pertain to the actual protection. It's in vitro.
And what studies can you point to that show significant reinfection? There are no studies that show significant reinfection.
Let me finish the response to your question, if you please. The other thing is that when you talk about reinfection and you don't keep in the concept of variants, that's an entirely different ballgame. That's a good reason for a mask. In the South African study conducted by J&J, they found that people who were infected with wild type and were exposed to the variant in South Africa, the 351, it was as if they had never been infected before. They had no protection. So when you talk about reinfection, you've got to make sure you're talking about wild type. I agree with you that you very likely would have protection from wild type for at least 6 months if you're
Point to the-
infected. But
point
we
to the
in our
study, though.
country
Point to
now
the study
have
that
variants that are
shows
circulating.
significant reinfection. What study shows significant reinfection, hospitalization, and death after either natural infection or the vaccine? It doesn't exist. There is no evidence that there are significant reinfections after vaccine. In fact, I don't think we have a hospitalization in the United States after the 2-week period after the second vaccination. We
Yeah,
don't
you-
have a death in the United States.
You're not hearing what I'm saying about variants. We're talking about wild type versus variants.
And
now,
what proof is there that there are significant reinfections with hospitalizations and death from the variants? None in our country. Zero.
Well, because we don't have a prevalent of a variant yet. We're having one, can I finish? We're
What
having
you're talking about is
117 that's
conjecture.
becoming more
You're making your
dominant.
policy based on conjecture.
No,
You
it-
have the
it isn't
conjecture that
based
we're
on
going to get
conjecture.
variants, so you want people to wear a mask for another couple years.
No.
You've been vaccinated and you parade around in 2 masks for show.
No.
You can't get it again. There's virtually 0% chance you're going to get it, and yet you're telling people that have had the vaccine, who have immunity. You're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear a mask who've been vaccinated. Instead, you should be saying there is no science to say we're going to have a problem from the large number of people who have been vaccinated. You want to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Tell them they can quit wearing their mask after they get the vaccine. You want people to get the vaccine? Give them a reward instead of telling them that the nanny state's going to be there for 3 more years and you got to wear a mask forever. People don't want to hear it. There's no science behind it.
Well, let me just state for the record that masks are not theater. Masks are protective. And we
You have
ask
immunity there, theater. If you already have immunity, you're wearing a mask to give comfort to others.
Senator
You're
Paul,
not
out
wearing a
time,
mask
and I
because
would
of any
like Dr.
science.
Fauci
I
to be
totally disagree with you.
Wow, this is a hot debate going on right now between Republicans and Dr. Fauci. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Republican Senator Rand Paul there is saying it's political theater. It's what he's saying is it's political theater that if you have had the vaccine or had the virus, that there's virtually no cases that show that you can basically catch it again and have serious hospitalization or death. And basically forcing people to continue to wear masks in any capacity at all is political theater. Now, Dr. Fauci's point of view is basically, well, that's not true because of all the variants. We have variants across the world and in the United States that are different strains and make the vaccine or your antibodies less effective. And we'll have to see where that goes in the future. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments because this is a hot debate right now for the future of our country and what will happen over the next 12 months with masks and quarantines. And I mean, we're literally seeing it right now. Paris, France literally just went into a brand new 28-day complete lockdown in Paris, France. 28 days, brand new lockdowns. We're seeing this literally across the world. We're not out of the woods yet. Just last night, we have Miami, Florida, declaring a state of emergency due to spring break travelers traveling to Miami for spring break. And they're literally declaring a state of emergency because of the gatherings and the pandemic. And they've actually enforced an 8 p.m. curfew during spring break. If you're a spring breaker, you know an 8 p.m. curfew is completely not what you want. And that's why the debate here for the future of our country is going to really matter on how we proceed going forward with the pandemic. On stimulus, the next round of stimulus, what we're calling the fourth stimulus round, or the fourth stimulus check round, has already begun with President Biden now canceling a brand new $1 billion of student loan debt. This is just a small amount of what we're expected to see going forward with the future of all sorts of stimulus rounds and stimulus checks, the next stimulus package happening, and more student loan cancellation of $10,000 per person or more. This $1 billion that was just canceled is you have to meet certain criteria where basically your school went out of business. Well, here you go right here. You qualify for the relief if you filed a claim against your school. Your claim was approved, but you received less than a complete loan cancellation. You may also be eligible for reimbursement of the money you've already paid on your student loans. This is for borrowers who basically got ripped off by their schools went out of business, or they have been harmed by their institution's misconduct. So as you can see here, Biden literally just canceled $1 billion of student loan debt, and this is just a fraction of the student loan debt that I expect to see canceled in the near future. This was kind of the easiest, lowest hanging fruit for Biden to do. It's just the foot in the door. Remember, they also passed a provision in the third stimulus check package setting up this in the near future that says any student loans that are forgiven in the next 5 years won't even be taxable. Normally, that money that is forgiven would count as taxable income. This provision says it won't even be taxable. This also opens up the door, and I've seen a lot of you guys comment on this down below in the comments, that if they do student loan forgiveness, what about other people that don't have student loans? Could they possibly do medical loan forgiveness or medical debt forgiveness? Could they do mortgage debt forgiveness? Could they do credit card debt forgiveness? If you listen to the Democrats that are pushing the student loan forgiveness, they'll basically say that it's a burden on the person for decades and decades to go. And that's one of their main criteria that they say on why this should be forgiven. That people come out of college and a lot of them don't even use their degree, and they're just burdened for many, many, many years. So if we go by that as the standard, can we say that about medical debt? Yeah, you can. Can you say that about mortgage debt? Yeah, you can. Can you say that about credit card debt? Yeah, you can. So this kind of opens the door for in the future seeing other types of debt forgiven. Let me know your thoughts on that. Do you think that they should, especially if you don't get the student loan forgiveness? About 1 in 6 adults has student loans in America. But if you're one of the other 5 out of the 6, should you be eligible for possibly other types of debt forgiveness in the future? And well, with the Democrats able to vote on these things completely in the House, the Senate, and the presidency, where they have control over all these, any of these things seems like a very real possibility, especially after we literally just seen 2 days ago $1 billion of student loan debt forgiven. And that was really just the easy part. That was the low hanging fruit. That was just the kind of first drop of what we're expected to see in the future, as well as all sorts of other stimulus packages. Like we have the next stimulus package already announced, the Build Back Better package, the infrastructure package. We already have dozens of new pushes for not just one stimulus check in the next package, but multiple monthly reoccurring stimulus checks in the next package as high as $2,000. I literally have article after article after article saying that, like this one here, Senator Ed Markey says that monthly reoccurring stimulus checks need to follow, and that the $1,400 stimulus check from the third stimulus check was just a down payment. Literally, article after article, dozens of Democrats, well, about a dozen in the Senate, dozens more from the House of Representatives, to include reoccurring monthly stimulus checks and reoccurring unemployment checks in the next stimulus package, the Build Back Better package, and to continue these stimulus checks for relief until the pandemic is over. We literally have already had dozens of Democrats pushing for this. And that's important because Democrats can pass the next stimulus package completely by themselves. In fact, we have Senator Bernie Sanders, who's the Senate Budget Chairman, the person in charge of the reconciliation process, already saying that he expects the Democrats will actually pass this next package with reconciliation and that he doesn't expect Republicans to come on board. So, really, the next stimulus package and the next round of stimulus, the fourth round of stimulus, we're going to call it, has already begun. And the question is, how much will we see? How many of these kind of side packages like student loan forgiveness, $200 per month Social Security increase, $15,000 home buyer credit? How many of these alternative packages will we see? And what will be included in the fourth stimulus check package, or what will be done through standalone bills and presidential executive orders and more? On the $1,400 stimulus check, let our viewers know down below in the comments if you got your $1,400 today or yesterday within the last 24 hours. The IRS Get My Payment tool, as well as the Direct Express cards and bank account pending information, is showing a lot of people are going to get a deposit on the 24th, which is now about 3 days away. So we're literally seeing millions of people now with a new pending date of the 24th. The IRS Get My Payment tool is actually showing more information for some people that are going to receive paper checks in the mail. The IRS has said that they have already started to send out the first round of paper checks in the mail. So please be on the lookout for paper checks in the mail. Even if you're getting a direct deposit, you could get a paper check in the mail or a debit card in the mail. If they have any problems with your bank account or whatever, any problems at all the IRS has, they could send you a paper check or a debit card in the mail. It's literally happening to tens of thousands of people. So even if you're expecting a direct deposit, please check your mail every single day. Don't throw away any envelopes that are just white envelopes and have a blue seal that says Department of Treasury, because it's probably your stimulus check. And there's already been over 100,000 people from the first and second stimulus checks that threw away their stimulus check or their debit card in the mail by accident. So I'll keep you up to date on all these things. Third stimulus check, fourth stimulus packages, all the related stimulus items coming out in the near future, as well as the $3,000 to $3,600 child stimulus checks, the child income tax credit, the $7,000 funeral credit for people that have passed away last year, for the family members to pay for their funeral, retroactive, as well as the mortgage assistance, rental assistance, property tax assistance, and utility assistance that was just passed in the third stimulus check package and will be becoming available soon. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new updates. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications to get notifications when we go live. We have new videos coming out every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., 8 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you up to date with all of this. Make sure to share this video with your family and friends. Also, there's a share button down below so that they know about upcoming stimulus packages and the latest details on the $1,400 checks. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start your own business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have dozens of students that have started their own Amazon business selling products on Amazon and have replaced their 9 to 5 income, and I teach them how to do that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.